All right, diving right in today.
Okay.
And we're talking about vocabulary. You know that feeling when you want to say something
Mhm.
and the right words just aren't there?
Totally.
Well, we're going to fix that today.
Right.
We're breaking down how to expand your vocabulary
Okay.
quickly and
So-
for real this time.
Absolutely.
We're not messing around with flashcards and just
Any-
memorizing lists.
Right.
This is about understanding how to actually use new words
I like it.
naturally
Yeah.
in your English.
It's all about making it second nature.
Exactly. So you can sound more fluent,
Yes.
more confident.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so first,
Yeah.
why is expanding your vocabulary even important?
Well, think of it this way.
Okay,
If you only have a limited set of words,
right.
it's kind of like a musician with only a few notes.
Mm-hmm.
You can play a simple tune,
Sure.
but
yeah.
it won't have the depth or the nuance
Right.
that you could get with a full range of notes.
That's a great analogy.
You see, a larger vocabulary allows you to express yourself
Mm-hmm.
with so much more precision
Right.
and clarity.
And you know what I've noticed?
What's that?
When someone uses a variety of vocabulary,
Yeah.
they just sound more engaging,
Right.
more interesting to listen to.
Absolutely.
It's like they're painting a picture with words and
Amazing.
using all the colors, right?
Exactly. It's like having a full palette of colors instead of just a few
Yeah.
basic crayons.
Right, exactly.
So it makes your English
Mhm.
sound much more natural.
Mhm. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, but how do we actually do this effectively?
Right. That's the key question.
Like, I've tried memorizing lists before,
Mm-hmm.
and it just doesn't stick.
Yeah. Simply memorizing lists without context is rarely effective.
So what does work?
Well, what's interesting
Yeah.
is that fluent speakers
Mm-hmm.
don't just have huge vocabularies.
Right.
They're good at choosing the right word
Mm.
at the right time.
Oh, I see.
It's about precision, not just quantity.
Okay, so it's not about cramming in as many words as possible, but
Right.
about knowing which ones to use.
Yes. And when?
Okay, so what are some of the strategies
All right, let's get into that.
from our deep dive today?
So we found 6 key strategies
6. All right, let's hear them.
that really stand out.
Okay.
The first one is all about context.
Oh, context. Yeah.
That's so important.
I feel like we've all had that experience where
Right.
you learn a word,
Yeah,
then you don't really know how to use it.
exactly.
So context is like the missing piece.
It is. It gives the word meaning.
So how does that work practically?
So instead of just memorizing a word
Mhm.
and its definition,
Right.
you learn it within a sentence
Okay.
or a phrase.
So you see it in action.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For example, imagine the word enormous.
Enormous. Okay.
If you just memorize it as very big,
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing. But if you see it in a sentence, like
Okay.
that house is enormous,
Okay, yeah.
you immediately get a better sense of its intensity
You do.
and how it's used.
It's like seeing the word in its natural habitat.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so that's context.
Right. First
I
strategy.
see the next word.
So the next one is what we call the 5X rule.
The 5X rule. Interesting.
It's all about repetition.
Okay, tell me more.
Basically, to really learn a new word,
Yeah.
you should try to use it at least 5 times in one day.
5 times. Wow.
It seems like a lot,
It does.
but it really helps to solidify it in your memory.
Okay, so how would that work in practice?
Let's say you learn the word delighted.
Delighted. Okay.
You could say, I'm delighted to meet you.
Okay.
You could write in an email, she looked delighted at the news.
Right.
And even just think to yourself,
Yeah.
this coffee is delightful.
So you're actively trying to use it in different ways.
Exactly.
About the day.
The more you use it, the more natural it becomes.
Makes sense. Okay, what's next?
The third strategy is all about immersion.
Immersion. Okay.
It's about surrounding yourself with the language.
Got it.
So we're talking about reading and
Right.
listening.
Okay, makes sense.
But it's not just about passively consuming content.
Right. I get that.
It's about actively engaging with it.
So what's the difference?
When you come across a new word,
Yeah.
don't immediately reach for the dictionary.
Oh, okay.
Try to guess the meaning from the context.
Interesting.
Use the surrounding words
Mhm.
and the overall situation to figure it out.
And then check if you're right.
Exactly. That active process of guessing and checking
Yeah.
really helps with retention.
It forces you to think about the language.
It does, and it also exposes you to
Yeah.
a wide range of vocabulary.
Okay, immersion. Got it.
All right, strategy number 4
Bring it on.
is keeping a new word journal.
A new word journal.
It's a simple but powerful tool.
Okay, how does it work?
Every time you encounter a new word
Mm-hmm.
that you want to learn, you write it down in your journal.
Okay, but why is that better than just highlighting it?
The act of writing itself helps with memory,
I can see that.
and it also allows you to add your own notes and examples.
So not just the definition.
Right. You can create your own personalized example.
Okay, so I'm writing down the word, the definition,
Yeah.
and then an example sentence using the word.
Exactly. And here's the key.
Okay.
Regularly review your journal.
Oh, so it's not just a one-time thing.
No. Consistent review is crucial for long-term retention.
Okay, so that's strategy number 4.
Right. We're halfway there.
Awesome, what's next?
So strategy number 5 leverages technology.
Technology. All right, bring on the apps.
So talking about flashcards and language learning apps,
I've heard of those.
they can be really effective.
How so?
Well, many of them use spaced repetition.
Spaced repetition, what's that?
It's a learning technique that involves reviewing information at increasing intervals.
So you're not just cramming it all at once.
Exactly. You review it just before you're likely to forget it.
That's clever.
It's based on how our brains naturally learn.
So are these apps better than traditional flashcards?
They can be, yeah.
How come?
Well, for one, they automate the spaced repetition process.
Oh, that makes sense.
You don't have to manually schedule your reviews.
Right.
And they often include features like audio pronunciations
good.
and example sentences.
So it's like a more interactive experience.
Exactly. And our sources specifically recommend
Okay.
adding pictures to your flashcards.
Pictures. Interesting.
Visual associations can be a powerful memory aid.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's like creating a mental image to link to the word.
Cool. Okay, that's strategy number 5.
Right. Almost there.
What's the final strategy?
The last but not least strategy
Okay.
is to actively engage in word games
Word games, all right?
and speaking practice.
Speaking practice, that makes sense.
It's one thing to learn words passively,
Yeah.
but it's another thing entirely to use them actively.
Right, like actually speaking them.
Exactly. The more you use them in real conversations, the more fluent you become.
Okay, but what about word games?
Word games are a fun way to reinforce your vocabulary.
Okay.
Things like crossword puzzles
Yeah.
or Scrabble.
Right.
They challenge you to think about words in different ways.
So it's like a mental workout for your vocabulary.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
So those are our 6 key strategies.
6 strategies, that's a lot to take in.
It is, but remember,
Yeah.
even implementing 1 or 2 of them
Uh-huh.
can make a big difference.
Right, consistency is key.
Absolutely.
So, as we wrap up our deep dive today, what's the one thing you want our listeners to remember?
I think the most important thing is to be active.
Active, okay.
Don't just passively consume information.
Right.
Engage with it.
Mm-hmm.
Use the strategies we discussed. And most importantly, practice speaking.
Yeah, you got to use it or lose it.
Exactly.
So, to all our listeners out there,
Uh-huh.
think about which of these strategies resonates with you and
Right.
how you can fit it into your daily routine.
Yeah.
Even small steps
Right.
taken consistently
Absolutely.
can lead to big results.
I completely agree.
And maybe, as a final thought,
Okay.
challenge yourself today
Yeah.
to use just one new word in a conversation.
I like it.
You might be surprised by the impact it has.
It's a great way to put your learning into practice.
Exactly.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.
See you next time.
Bye.